All right, welcome into the Fit Parent Podcast. I'm your host, Jeff Delzell. I'm here with Amy.
Hello.
And we were just talking. This is the last episode that was going to be published in 2025.
Crazy.
Which is kind of wild.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like this year of the podcast has been really cool. Like I've really enjoyed where it's gone over the course of this year. And I just want to say thank you to you and continue to say thank you to you for the ways that you have made this what it is.
You're welcome.
I'm going to let y'all know where we're going today. This is going to be like your roadmap to success in 2026, particularly beginning of the year strategies, but also overall. Super tactical, but I want to start with a story that's going to kind of ease us in. And it's not really that long of a story, but it's the context that Jeff is currently in. Mm-hmm. As a side note, if you are noticing my like circa 2010 headphones, mine are currently like getting repaired or whatever it is. Like that was just a pain in the butt. Let me tell you something.
The wonky break.
Yeah, it literally, they snapped like in half. Like it just snapped all the way through. Which is why I can't have nice things. Let's just be honest. Like I just need to take better care of my things. We got, but just side note, brand new car, don't even have plates on it, got a dent in the door.
Did you do it?
I did it. Yeah, my own stupidity, my own dumbness is what did it.
It's a nice car though.
It was a nice car. It would have been a lot nicer without dents in the door.
Yeah.
So had to pay to get that fixed.
No, just leave them.
No, I mean, it was like on principle. I was like, this is like, it's a 3-week-old car. Like we are, gonna try to get this fixed. But that was fun. So story. And I think that this will be helpful as we transition in both from an aspirational perspective, but also an experiential perspective. As people, if you have goals in 2026 to fitness goals, which again, I will be honest, I think everybody should have some level of fitness goals. And our next episode that we do, we'll be talking about how do we set goals and kind of track them and all of things like that. But what I want to dig into today is I think you should have goals to some degree in every area of your life. Hey, I have family goals and fitness and business or work or marriage or whatever it is. I think shooting for something keeps us directed. Otherwise, we have no target. So we're meandering. It's like, I'm going to go for a drive. And it's like, okay, we're just out here living, But so if you have goals, particularly weight loss goals is the most common ones that we talk about on this podcast, but maybe it's body composition and really goals fall into 3 buckets. And I'll spend more time talking about this next episode, but fitness goals fall into one of 3 buckets. And we all want all of them. But if we have like a glass full of water and we have 3 buckets, how are we going to distribute our glass of water? We have to kind of we could put them all the same, but it's going to be difficult to pursue any of them that way. You kind of pick one. And so first is longevity, health markers. Hey, I want lower blood pressure. I want better independence long-term. I want to be able to, play with my grandkids, that kind of stuff. Right. Performance is, hey, I want more energy, or I want to not hurt as much, or I want to be able to do XYZ thing, do a pull-up or run a marathon or play a sport that you like to play or climb or whatever it is. And then the last one is aesthetics, build muscle, lose body fat, fit into your clothes better, all of those. And again, I think that all of us want all of those things. And if you pursue one, you will oftentimes get to some degree, to a lesser degree, the other 2. But at a certain point, the rubber meets the road and the goals diverge and we have to kind of pick one versus the other. Like if your main goal is performance, you're not going to get to a certain level of body fat, as a for instance, depending on the thing that you're trying to perform for, because you reduce your performance when you get super duper lean. If you were trying to run long distance, you wouldn't necessarily want to have a crap ton of muscle. as a for instance. So there is a point where the rubber meets the road, but for 98% of people, 90% of the stuff is going to be translatable across the different goals. But when we are pursuing these goals, most people have, and honestly, the first thing that a lot of people could do to improve their health markers and improve their performance and their energy would be to lose a little bit of body fat and put on a little bit of muscle. I'll be honest with you. Like, if you do that, like, unless you're like, I feel real good about my current level of body fat and my current level of muscle, which is not a ton of people in the world.
No, definitely not.
Unless you're in that spot, then that's probably your lowest hanging fruit. That's probably, like, I have a client right now whose main goal was the performance side of things. He wanted to have less pain. He wanted to be able to do more things. He wanted to feel stronger. He's got some knee pains and stuff like that he was working through. And we're like, yeah, we're absolutely pursuing that sort of thing. And it does inform some of the stuff that we're doing. But one of the things that he's done that has had the biggest impact on him feeling stronger, doing day-to-day things, like he just went for like a week-long hike in the jungle.
That's very cool.
Which is super cool.
Yeah.
And he was like, I was totally able to do all of the things. Part of that is he's carrying around 20 pounds less right now. So it makes it a lot easier. It's like it's him wearing a 20-pound backpack.
Mm-hmm.
It just makes it a lot easier to do performance when you're, and he's got more muscle on him too. So he's gotten stronger in that sense, but he's also got that. So there's a lot of benefits to both sides of this. But when we think about pursuing these goals, and I'm going to literally give you step by step what it is that you would need to do in order to lose weight, I want to tell the story of where I'm at today as I sit here. Prior to hopping on this podcast, I needed to take a bath with Epsom salts because of the level of sore that I currently am. Because on Sunday night, we're recording this Tuesday morning. On Sunday night, I played pickup basketball. I got invited to play pickup basketball, and I was never a good basketball player. I was not bad. Like I was an athlete.
It just wasn't your sport.
I could hold my own, but like I didn't play basketball past like 8th grade, with any level of competition. I would kind of do some rec stuff. I did some intramural stuff in college, and I could like be not the weak link on a team, but I was never going to be good. Like, yeah, past, I want Jeff on my team. It was, but it wasn't going to be the point where like, I don't want Jeff on my team. It was like, Jeff's fine, right? Jeff's going to be fine. And so I got invited to go play basketball. And honestly, I don't remember the last time I played basketball with any like full court basketball. I legitimately don't remember. It's very likely it was college that I played full court basketball. I mean, I did like some pickup, like some like half court stuff with a couple of buddies in my mid 20s, like in the rec room of the church sort of thing where we would play tips. But I haven't played full court basketball, I don't think, since intramurals in college. But it's been at least 10 years since I've done it. And Megan was like, are you going to get hurt? That was her.
Yes.
Well, so no, I am not hurt. Like, I'm not hurt. I'm sore, particularly my feet, which I'll talk about in a second.
I can see that.
But I wasn't worried about getting hurt. And the story that was in her head, which is understandable, we had a mentor figure of mine, like through college and early adulthood, who was probably 20 years older than me at the time. So he was in his mid 40s and, used to be super athletic, but like hadn't really done a lot recently, and came out and played basketball, like that half court tip thing with us. Again, this is 10 years ago, and was playing, and he was doing all the stuff that he used to do, and he popped his Achilles.
That's what John did. First time playing pickup soccer.
Yeah. And so that was what Megan was a little bit nervous about. It's like, hey, are you going to go like really hurt yourself? Not be a little sore, but like really hurt yourself. And I'm like, I'm going to be sore. So that's the other thing. I went into it knowing I was going to be sore because I hadn't played. And so soreness is a function of doing something you haven't done in a long time.
Yeah,
Like
it's
if
like
you do a new workout
reactivating those
program,
muscles.
I'm doing, and there's no way to like, you can't, like I could train for basketball, but I can't train fully for basketball besides playing basketball. Like nothing replicates basketball like playing basketball. And so I knew I was going to be sore, but I knew I also, unless something super fluky happened, wasn't going to get hurt because I had been training like an athlete. I still jump. I jump a couple times a week. I do like box jumps or different variations on box jumps.
I was just picturing you just like jumping.
I'll do pogos, I'll do jump ropes. So like my Achilles and those muscles are used to it because I never want to be in a spot where I can't. I do sprints, not as frequently as I would like to, but I do sprints. So I have sprinted. I'm doing single leg exercises. I'm doing balance exercises. So there wasn't a situation where I was like, I'm really nervous XYZ thing is going to happen. And also, I'm not the most competitive person in the world. I don't know if that like is surprising to anybody, but like I'm not a super competitive person, particularly when it comes to like casual stuff. Like I was really competitive when I was coaching. Like when I was coaching, I was like, I'm gonna make sure that we're performing to the best level that we can. And I was like,
that's a different type of like innate competitiveness. When you're in charge of the people who are doing the performing, you like innately want them to do the best.
Yeah, it was, I want to make sure that I'm doing everything that I can so that they can go out and do it. You know, I don't ever want there to be a spot where I feel like I didn't do everything I could to put them in a position to be successful. But if we're playing, yard games or, whatever, like, some people get really intense with the yard games. And it doesn't mean that like I won't, if we're playing, what's the trampoline one with the ball, slam ball or whatever it is? Do you know what I'm talking about?
No, I'm in my 40s. We don't do that. We do a lot of cornhole.
Cornhole, but like cornhole, I'll be like, I'll get into it. Like, I'm like, yeah, like, but I'm not, but, or pick up volleyball. Like, I'm relatively athletic and I'm going to hold my own, but I'm not, and I'll dive for something or whatever it is if it feels appropriate, but I'm not going to do something that's out of my, like, I'm not going to flirt with a 10 out of 10 effort.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm just not. I'm going to live at an 8. I might bump it all the way up to a 9 if it's the right moment. But like,
do not come to the Steinberg family Easter egg hunt then. They treat that like the Super Bowl. Like people get body slammed to get out of the way of an egg.
I've seen a lot of grown people like this, and I love Megan so much for this. It's one of the things that she's super competitive, and she has a hard time not being really competitive in these moments. And I'm like, we're here for a good time. Like we're here for a good time. Like we get no trophies. Like, and even if we got a trophy, it's a trophy. Like I'm just, we don't really, I'm here for a good time. And so I knew that I was going to go and I was going to play and it was going to be a good time. And I would probably be sore the next day because I didn't use muscles that I had used for a while. And she was like, what are you going to wear on your feet? Do you have
shoes? Basketball shoes,
and I was like, I do have basketball shoes. But the basketball shoes that I have, I bought my sophomore year of college for like $40. So those are 15-year-old shoes that weren't good shoes 15 years ago, and haven't been used in at least 10 years. And so I was like, we're going to let it rip, but like, I'm not going to go out and buy basketball shoes to go play pickup basketball like, one time and see how I like it. And I think there's an alternate universe where I'm in much better shape today than I am. But the way that we play, so there was 14 guys. And so you kind of like randomly, you shoot to pick teams, basically. And we played, short games. And if your team won, you stayed. And if you didn't win, then you were off and they shot for new teams, essentially. And I just happened to be on the team with the best player there by a long margin, and who was the one who invited me, and a couple of other really good athletes. And so I was not far and away the worst player on my team, but I was bottom 2 player on my team, and I would probably be like a middle of the pack on a lot of, like, with, if I had been on any other team that was constructed, I would have probably been like a 2, 3, 4, depending on the circumstance. But I was like 4 or 5 on this team, so we were a very good team. And if you win, you just stay on, and we won every game.
Oh, I'm sorry for you.
So I played 7 games in a row. I played for an hour and 45 minutes straight.
Oh, that's...
And I was like,
doesn't play this game a lot. That is a long time.
It was like, can you remember the last time you worked out for an hour and workout for an hour 45 minutes straight, but like sprinting,
right?
You know, and it's high intensity and whatever it was. And I was like, I really kind of want to lose. Like, I really would love to lose here and take a break.
The only game I've played that long is beer pong, and I was praying to lose by the end. Yeah. I'm like, I'm going to die.
It was like, man, we really, we could stand a loss right now.
Yeah.
And I told Megan, if I had shown up, because I also stayed all the way to the end, and we didn't start till 7:30, and so that's another thing, by the way. It's like, that's super late for, and it was in Dover. I was like, I am basically getting ready for sleep right now. But it's a bunch of like dads, you know, it was a bunch of dads, so everybody has to wait until after bedtimes. And so I get over there, and Megan was kind of like, I was expecting you home around 9. And I was like, I was expecting me home around 9, but I can't. I'm like, forgive my language. Like, she was like, you could have opted out. I'm like, I'm not a bitch. Like, I'm not going to opt out when my team is on a run. Yeah. You know, I'm not going to be the one who's like, I need a break, guys, you know, and
I got to go home.
And, my feet are hurting because I'm wearing, you know, 15-year-old $40 basketball shoes that are not meant for this. But if it had gone the way that I envisioned it going, and it would have gone really in any other universe, which is I play a game, I sit a game, I play a game, I sit a game, I play a game, and then I leave.
Yep.
And I would have left with a couple games left, and that would have been the thing. I think I would be fine.
You'd be fine.
I would be totally fine. Like, my legs are fine. My legs were fine yesterday.
Maybe the bottoms of your feet hurt, but that's
are like, there's blisters on the pads of my toes. Oh. Not like open ones, but like, you know, that's like that raw.
The skin starts to separate a little.
It's just like real tension.
Yeah.
And so but then as a result of that hurts. So then I'm walking on the outsides of my feet, which cause my ankles to kind of bother me, which then radiates up into my calves. And so like from the knee down is like, this is rough sledding. And so I got home from dropping off the kids, and I was like, I don't know about like making it. I was like, I'm going to throw some Epsom salts in a bath and like just soak my feet for a little bit and my calves and my ankles, and just see if I put some Band-Aids on the bottom of my feet and see if I can make it through the day.
What do Epsom salts do? I hear about people doing this. I've never done it.
It's like, it like soothes your muscles. You know, it's nothing magical, but in a bath, like lavender Epsom salts, it like calms you.
Light some candles.
Well, Megan loves it. Megan is really into baths. Like, if we don't get a soak-in tub in our next house, I'm going to be in trouble.
The only bathtub we have is in Emma's bathroom. I'm not using that one.
No. So, all that to say this, experientially, starting something new is going to feel unsettling. You're going to be sore. There's going to be a tail on it. It's going to be challenging and all of that. And so we're always going to be starting something new. It's always going to be hard. And so our expectations going into it is going to be what drives whether or not we stick with it. And so if I went into last night thinking I wasn't going to get hurt or like be sore, you know, sort of situation, and I was going to be totally fine, and then I came out of it and I felt this way, I would be really discouraged. I was like, I don't want to go play ball again.
Again.
Because I expected it, though. I didn't expect the feet thing, though I probably should have.
I wouldn't have either, though.
But I didn't expect it because I didn't expect to play 7 games. But I was like, I'm going to be sore, but I'll see if I enjoy it. And if I enjoy it, I'll potentially go back. And I enjoyed it. And so I have a desire to go back. I just would need to get different basketball shoes.
Yes.
And not play 7 games in a row. That's for sure.
Just hope you're not on that team again.
Yeah, I'll just opt out next time. I've shown that I'm not a baby. No. Like, I'll just opt out.
Yeah.
Hey, I'm gonna tap out this round. But it was hard. Like, I was like gassed. I was like really tired at times. And I was like, man, I really want to sit down. Like, that would be great. Like, it was hard. And I had to push through the hard in order to get some of the experience out of it. And so I think when you go in to something new, or you're restarting something, particularly that's it, because there's very few people who have never tried who are listening to this podcast. I'll just say that. If you've never tried and you're listening to this podcast, good for you. Love it, right? Plenty of resources for you for how to get started. But a lot of people have tried and then they're restarting to get back into it. It's a similar experience for me. And if you go into it expecting it's going to feel like the last time that you did it, you're going to disappoint yourself. Like, if I felt like playing, I was going to look anything like I did when I was playing with some level of consistency in college, I was like, I don't even know how to shoot a bat. Like, I got out there and my first like warm-up shot, I just a foot and a half short, like didn't even touch the rim. I was like, that's a good sign. Like, we're and at some point I took a couple more practice shots and I was like, this is like me hitting my driver at the driving range. Like, I'm not getting any better right now. You know, let's just go play the round. I'll figure it out. I'll see what I got, but I don't have a touch right now. Let's just see what happens. And if I went into it expecting like I'm going to be just sinking shots and I'm going to have my handle and I'm going to be all over here and I'm not going to get tired, I'm not going to get winded. Like, I got winded. And it doesn't mean that I'm not training for that, but I got winded. I was like, oh man, like not a, momentary like moment of shame too lives in that, where it's like, I'm a trainer. Like, I'm known among most of those guys. I know to at least some level, and almost all of them know what I do. And so it's a little bit of a moment. It's like, dude, if Jeff's out here gassed, like, what is he? You know what I mean? Like, that's.
But I'm not a basketball trainer. Like,
but there is that moment of, feels like everybody's looking at you and all of that, and you just have to be willing to be uncomfortable and be willing to put yourself into a situation. So step into it and step into the discomfort. With all that being said, it's really difficult to do.
Yeah.
But you have to remember that there was a point in the life of anybody who was ever successful where they were really, really terrible at it. And the reason that they're successful is because they were willing to just be terrible at it for a while. So like, think about anything that you're good at, and think about how long it took you to get good at it. And sometimes you have a natural aptitude for some things, but the vast majority of things we're not just good at the first time that we do it. Think about like putting on a diaper on a kid, like the very first time that you like, how, like, logistically, how does this work? You never experienced this with them, but like with the boys, we had you got to point the penis down. Point the penis down so that it doesn't, but like, you make that mistake once and you're like, what an idiot I am, that I didn't think about that. But why would you think about it?
Right.
And so there's a lot of these things where, good.
John had to change M's diaper for the first time the day we brought her home from the hospital, because he hadn't done it in the hospital, had never done it before, because why would he have? He full on panicked, like cold sweats. He ended up getting her dressed back into what she wore when she came home from the hospital, like the hospital onesie that was only a shirt. Because like, I couldn't figure it out. I just couldn't. I got the diaper on. I think it was so wrong. And he's like, but I couldn't get snaps underneath, so I just put her in a t-shirt. My God, he got much better at it. But just, I love that memory of him like just coming out sweating. Like, here, take her.
It's unnerving to be bad at something.
Yeah, and something that you think you probably should know how to do.
100%. Yeah. And I think that that's a challenge, is that we, for some reason, expect ourselves to just be good at stuff from the beginning. Like, I'm an adult, I should have this figured out. And it's like, we're going to be bad at a lot of things for the rest of our life. And so just kind of getting into the idea that you have it figured out. Like I had a moment the other day where I was like, I'm 34. And I remember a period of time where I was like, 30s, that's old. And I'm like, that's not, I feel exactly the same as I did.
Yeah.
You know, I'm like, I still feel 25 in my head. I'm like, what is, you know, but I'm 34. We got a mortgage and a minivan and 3 kids. It's like,
yeah,
our oldest is going to kindergarten. Like he came home and he was like, it's wild the shift that happens. And so the idea that you're going to have it, I'm like, how do I do life? Like, what is adulthood? This is incredibly difficult. And so just like recognize that it's going to be hard and go into that with that expectation. Now, what do we tactically do? That's the rest of this episode. This is exactly the order of operations that you're going to do things. This episode is going to drop on Friday the 26th. So yesterday was Christmas.
Oh, as of, did you have a nice Christmas? How was your beef Wellington?
I 100% can tell you that's going to be fantastic. 100% can tell you that's going to be fantastic. I'm picking up the roast today. And
I just booked my table yesterday at the local Chinese restaurant because I'm not cooking. We're not in our house. I'm like, I don't have a kitchen. We're gonna go Chinese.
I love that. That'll be a memorable Christmas. Like I remember the one where we didn't have power. Like I remember that one.
Oh, the ice storm year?
Yeah, the 2008.
I loved that
ice storm year
because I did have power. I lost it for 23 hours. That's it.
We didn't
Everyone
have
else lost it for
9
weeks.
days. Yeah, it was like 10 days. It was crazy.
Yep, it was great. They canceled school. It was right before Christmas. I'm like, this is great.
Yeah. So the Wellington's going to be dope. That's going to be fantastic. So it's the 26th. I'm going to tell you the first mistake that everybody's going to make. And I'm going to say it in a positive way, though. Number one thing that you can do to be successful in 2026 is to start today. If you wait until Monday, and you're listening to this now and you're thinking about it, not if you're listening to this on Monday, start now. Whenever you're listening to this, start now. But waiting until Monday, or certainly waiting until the Monday after New Year's, that's January 5th. You have a New Year's goal and you're going to wait 5 days into the year. And it's not about the fact that it's 5 days or it's 7 days or whatever it is. It's about the fact that you're waiting for the opportune time. This is not, this is going to be I hope that you catch this reference. Yeah, you are not Jack Sparrow. We do not need to wait for the opportune moment.
That might be Johnny Depp's best role because he just looks like it looks like him.
It is 100% his best role. There's no doubt on that's his best role. Like you do not need to wait for the right time, and waiting for the right time is what is going to narratively. I'm telling you, if you're waiting until I'm going to wait till Monday because of XYZ reason, you're probably not. You're probably not. It's not to say that you're not going to start on Monday. It's that you're probably going to need to start again in February, and then again in March, and then again in May, and then you're going to give up in July. This is the hamster wheel that we find ourselves on because there is no ideal time. And the idea that you are going to punt on a week's worth, this is what we talked about prior to the holiday season, but the idea that you're going to punt on a week's worth of potential progress because you're going to go out on New Year's Eve. Also, what are you doing out on New Year's Eve? Just
crazy people. Yeah.
Just go to bed.
Just go to bed.
Or a couple of family gatherings or whatever it is. Guys, I had a cookie last night. Not oh, Jeff, I had a cookie last night. I'll probably have a margarita tonight as I'm prepping my Wellington and we're starting to wrap presents. I'll have a margarita tomorrow night. I'll have some cookies tomorrow night because they're delicious. I'll have cinnamon rolls on Christmas morning. Does that discount? I didn't do my workout yesterday morning because I could not walk really. And the idea that we have to do it perfectly, and if we don't, then it's not worth doing, is what keeps us exactly where we are. There's no other area in your life where you are aiming for perfection and you cannot stomach a failure. I will tell another allegory. I don't think that's the right word. Like analogy type story, parable. I raised my voice with the kids last night. Not super loud. I didn't scream at them, but like I got really frustrated. And if you were in my house and you're a parent, you would probably understand why I got to that point. However, does it make it okay? Nope. Is there a fallout from it where they're going to remember it? Of course there is. Did I apologize immediately afterward? Sure. I made a mistake and I reconciled it. That's kind of the best that I can do. That doesn't mean that there's not an impact from it, but it's usually the problem was not in the moment. Like it was overstimulating, but the problem was not in the moment. The problem was a series of other things that happened earlier in the day where I just got to a point where I just didn't have the bandwidth for it. And that's what it was, is I just wasn't prepared for it. The reason I missed the workout Monday morning was not because I overslept my alarm on Monday morning. I made a choice to not do it because I knew that I was going to be too sore. Right? Like a lot of our challenge comes through the preparation side of things. So that's step number 2 is make the decision that you're going to start imperfectly. And step number 2 is set yourself up for success, which is the game is won or lost in the preparation. It's won or lost in the preparation. So if you don't know what you're having for dinner 2 nights from now or have a rough idea of it, you're probably screwed. And it doesn't mean you can't figure it out, but like you are significantly less likely to have a quality dinner if you don't have a plan. You just are. It was yesterday for lunch for Megan. She was like, I don't have anything for lunch. And it was like, all right, what are we going to do? And so she's got to like try to cobble something together, or she's got to do pickup or whatever it was, because we just didn't we missed something in our process where something came a little bit later than it was expecting to. Like we were expecting something to be here a little bit later or earlier. And so some of that's just like you're going to have those hiccups and just have, do it imperfectly, but set yourself up for success. So what is it that I need to do in order to set myself up for success? Think about the categories of things that we need to focus on. We need to focus on our nutrition, our movement, and our exercise. Like those categories of things. When are you going to do workouts? Put them in your calendar. Keep them as appointments. When are you going to go for walks? Put them in your calendar. Keep them as appointments. When are you going to plan your meals? When are you going to cook your meals? Or can you cook some stuff ahead of time? Can you batch cook some things? Like, how can I make success easier for myself?
That's what we're having tonight is a big batch cook of, it's called, very fancy name, chicken spaghetti. So you put chicken and spaghetti sauce in the crock pot and just cook it. But I made a bunch of that like a month ago and batched it and froze it. So that's dinner tonight, so I don't have to think about it. Just thawing that out.
Yep.
And a big salad.
There you go. Super simple, right? Like this is just make it easier for yourself. And so that's a lot of it is just setting up your environment. And we'll do a whole episode on how to set up your environment, but do the prep. Now we're going to get into like tactically, what is it that you're specifically going to do? Nutrition first. First thing you're going to do is every single meal, you are going to make sure that there's a protein source. Eat with some level of regularity. I actually don't care how frequently you eat, but I want you to eat the same amount of times every day. So I don't care what it is. If you don't like eating breakfast, don't eat breakfast. If you're like me and you're hungry every 2 hours, eat every 2 hours. If you're a breakfast, lunch, dinner person, eat breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Like I could not care any less how frequently you eat. But I want every single time that you eat, there's a source of protein in there. If you are unsure of what good sources of protein are, send me a message that says protein, and I will send you my ultimate protein guide. It's got a bunch of different options for you. Second, Once you're doing that, your main meals, at a minimum, your main meals should have a fiber source in them. So breakfast, lunch, dinner, at a minimum, should have a fiber source in them. So you're getting, at a minimum, 4 servings the size of your fist of fiber a day. 4 servings the size of your fist of fiber a day, fruit or vegetable. I don't care what it is. Easiest thing to do, like, have a piece of fruit with breakfast, have some sort of veggie with lunch, and then double up on your veggies with dinner. If you're doing 3 meals a day. Like, or if you have snacks, like, have fruit be part of your snacks. Like, not that I don't care the distribution of it, though you should probably have at least one of each, fruit and vegetable, but like, do that. Why do we do those things? Protein keeps you full, helps preserve muscle. Fiber keeps you full, not a lot of calories. If you've done that and you are consistently doing that, you are probably 90% of the way to nutritionally what you're looking to do. But then this comes back to step number 2, which is the challenge is not how do I make my perfectly curated meals have protein and fiber and fruit. It's how do I make more of my meals be things that I planned.
Okay.
Because the challenge for most people is this. A lot of people will tell me I eat pretty healthy. And if I looked at the meals that they make at home, probably pretty solid. The challenge is not the meals that you make at home. And I've said this on the podcast before. The challenge is the meals that you don't make at home. And that those are frequent enough to throw us off the plan. And to just be the delta, to be the difference. Like, I had a conversation with a client where we looked at it through the lens of a week, and it was like Monday there was, a couple of cookies and that she wasn't planning for, and Tuesday there was a corporate lunch, and then Wednesday was, she had a glass of wine with a friend at dinner, and then the next night was her company Christmas party, and so all of a sudden, like, only one of those things was planned. The rest were improv, but just between those things, I'm like, that's your difference.
Yeah.
That's your whole difference. It's not that the meals that you ate that you planned weren't good. It's that you ate those meals, but just as frequently as you ate those meals, you ate things off plan in terms of volume. So that's step number 5 is plan for the spots where you're going to indulge and learn a really magical 2-letter word. No. For the rest of the other times. Like, no, I'm good. Don't need to justify it. You don't need to give a reason. No, I'm going to do. Just no. I'm good. You say it to your kids all the damn time. All the time. Hey, mommy, can I? Nope. And you're like, why can't they just accept no? Like, why is it that they have it? Like, we talked about this on the 25 lessons of 2025. Like, the tantrum is the cost of an effective boundary. It's the cost of good parenting is like, you're probably going to get a tantrum. Like, you're going to be bummed. You're going to miss out on some things. Anybody who tells me like, I don't want to miss out, you're going to miss out. Yeah. But you get to choose what you miss out on. Right. Are you going to miss out on the thing, or are you going to miss out on feeling the way that you want to feel this summer? You're going to miss out on the Rice Krispie treats that Sally brought in, right? Or are you going to miss out on playing with your grandkids? Like, you choose. You get to choose. It's your choice, but like, it's going to be hard and you're going to miss out and it's going to not be fun. Sorry. It's the cost of doing business.
Second, it'll not be fun for a very short minimum.
Yeah.
Minimum of time.
Yeah, it is temporary versus long term in a lot of cases, but I'm not sitting here and saying that we are particularly good at making long-term decisions. But it is the difference between children and adults. Like, the primary difference between childhood and adulthood is adults are hypothetically able to make longer-term decisions.
Some of us are.
Some of us are, but like some of us are not, right? But like
I'm thinking about some people in my life who cannot make a long-term decision.
We like laugh and are exasperated at our kids who are having like total meltdowns over things that are innocuous and not particularly big deals. And you're like, this is going to be done in 30, like literally wait 30 seconds and it'll be good. And they're like, no, it's too long. Like literally that's what my kids, I'm like, it's 30 seconds. And they're like, it's too long. And I'm like, you can't wait 30 seconds. Like that's the difference between childhood and adulthood. It's not maybe that extreme, but that's the difference. So like be willing to say no temporarily. So plan the things that you want to indulge in and cut mercilessly on the things that you don't. Like we have to make those decisions. And again, if you are doing that, and again, I would say a ceiling for most people, if you're trying to lose weight, is 4 yeses in a week. I would plan for 3 and have a buffer fourth. Have one available for the thing that you couldn't have planned for. And there's very rarely things that you really couldn't have planned for. You just like didn't plan for it. So every time that you have to use your buffer fourth, you got to ask yourself, why did I not anticipate that? And there are, again, the circumstances under which like a buffer fourth feels totally, I'm like, yep, 100%, is like had to go to the hospital. You know, sort of that level of emergency. My kid had dance is not something that you couldn't have anticipated.
Right, because they very likely have it every weekend.
They have it every week. Or my friend came into town. Okay. Cool. Like, did you know they were coming into town? Did they surprise you? Do you need to have every meal be an indulgent meal? Or could we pick a spot? Like, you get to choose, but like, that's where we're at. Then, that's the nutrition side of things. You can kind of simultaneously be doing the movement side of things. I want you to find a way to track your steps. I'm not a big tracker of food, but I am a big tracker of steps. Okay, because you can do it without really any effort. Like get a wearable. You can get a Fitbit for like $30, or even have your phone just in your pocket. Your phone does a
pretty good job. It's pretty accurate.
Your phone does a pretty good job, and just track your steps for a week. Don't change anything. Just track your steps for the week, and then figure out what your lowest day is. And we are going to raise the floor. Right? I don't really care about your average all that much, because if we raise the floor, let's say your lowest day is 4,000 steps. What happened that day? And how could we have gotten 10 more minutes of walking in? 10 minutes of walking is about 1,000 steps. What can I do to raise the floor on my quote unquote worst day? How can I do more even on a terrible day where like I didn't move at all? Like I was at my desk the whole time. What can we do? Can I add 10 minutes in the morning before the kids wake up, before I leave for work? Can I do 10 minutes at lunch? Like I talked with a client last week where we were talking about doing exactly this. Hey, she's trying to raise her floor to 8,000 steps is what she's shooting for. And there was a couple of days where she was like, I really had to like kind of push myself to get there, but I was doing it. I was like, okay, well, that's not replicable. Pushing yourself to do it at night to get to 8,000 is not replicable. That's a motivation game, and we're going to lose motivation games. So what do we need to do to make it so you don't have to like rely on motivation to do it? Because every now and then you'll need to challenge yourself to do it. But like if that's our game plan, we're going to lose. So we were looking at it, and she's like, well, she works a few days a week. And she's like, she works part-time. She does 3 days. And there's a couple days where she's home with the kids, and then the weekends are always on the move. So it was really like there was 2 days, and these were the hard 2 days. There's 2 days where she's home with her kids. And she's like, those days they could go any which way. And those days are the ones where we're like, okay, we got to figure it out. But she's like, lunchtime on my work days, I go for a walk. I was like, okay, so let's see if we can try to apply that over here. But she's got 2 little kids, and it's cold out, and she's like, it's hard to like, all right, and then I'm not really walking. I'm just outside with the kids.
Mm-hmm.
But she was like, we do a nap for one of them and a quiet time for the other one. I was like, what do you do during that time? And she's like, sometimes I'll shower, sometimes I'll do the dishes, and sometimes I'll just collapse. And I was like, okay, let's try this. the first 10 minutes after you get them settled, I just want you to scroll, do your brain shut off scrolling, but like pace around your house while you scroll. At least 10 minutes. Like if you do longer, great. But like let's just do 10 minutes. And then you can go shower and you can pick up and then you can go sit, whatever it is. But let's just do that, because then it's the same thing, copy paste, 10 minutes. And that, like, just doing that is going to raise her floor up to that 8,000 steps. And so we are going to do these sort of incremental things, even though it's actually not like she would need to do an additional 20 minutes of walking in order to get it. Now, sometimes she's going to get it, just she's going to keep going past the 10 minutes. But even just doing that 10 minutes, she's likely to be way more active the rest of the day and get that 10 minutes in the aggregate the rest of the day just by doing that. And so I'm not saying where you need to get to, but like 8,000 is a good floor. If your floor is 8,000, your average is probably 9, and you're probably having several days where you're hitting 10. But like, let's see if we can incrementally, by 10 minutes at a time, raise your floor. And then when you have a week where you're like, I didn't go below X number, then look at where can I find another 10 minutes. Then you're going to start strength training. If you need a strength training guide, I have 6 weeks strength training program. Message me strength and I'll give it to you. And if you need something that's body weight, send me something else. Just say, hey, I need body weight exercises, and I'll find something for you on the internet that you can do. Body weight workout. Or if you want to, scroll back 900 posts on my Instagram to find body weight workouts from back in COVID, in the early days of Jeff's Instagram. But you're going to do at least 2 days a week. At least 2. When you've done 3 weeks in a row of 2 days, then you can add a third. Unless you have been consistently doing that. Because consistency matters more than intensity. Going 2 for 2 feels a lot better than going 2 for 3. It just does. And we are in the momentum game here, game. I'm going to tell you, this is the final truth about all of this, and hopefully you notice it. I have not given you calories. I have not given you amounts of really anything. I haven't given you even really specific targets. But what I am telling you is success in this is 10% what you do, 20% what you do, 80% how long you do it. It's far less about the actual mechanics of what it is that you're doing. I don't spend a ton of time talking to people about how many calories they ate. The vast majority of the time is putting on my Detective Jeff hat and figuring out why they're not as consistent as they want to be. But that's the whole game. Is like, most people know what to do. They're just not doing it. So why aren't you doing it? It's why 90% of this podcast is mentality based, is because it's so much of the game. It's so much of the game. And so, yeah, let's get a couple of workouts in. Total body, super easy to translate. Just have at least 1 day in between. Go back to the episode that I just did on the only 25 exercises you need. Pick one from each category and do it. A push, a pull, a squat, a hinge, and a core. Like, just do that. Do 3 sets of 8 to 12. And I mean, it'll take you 15 minutes, but like, just do that as a floor, and then we can ratchet it up. Like, ceiling that you would need on that is 4 workouts in a week for 45 minutes. That's really as much as almost anybody needs. Once you have been doing all of that for at least minimum 2 weeks, like hey, I'm hitting at least 7,000-8,000 steps. I'm doing the nutrition stuff consistently, and I'm getting my workouts in. Then you can start measuring your progress. This is the problem. People start measuring their progress, and they do imperfect, like they do it not quite well, and then they think, I'm not seeing any progress because you're not doing it quite as well as you need to be. And so then the results don't match with, like, the results do match with the effort,
right,
but don't match what your expectations were.
Right.
So then you get discouraged and you're like, I guess I got to do it perfectly. And you don't. But you do need to get to a point where you're consistent enough, and then you can start measuring. And then if you need to, then you can ratchet up intensity. Now, we're going to spend an entire podcast on this in the new year.
Okay.
But there's a framework that I have really been enjoying from Jonathan Goodman, who owns the Mentor OTM, the mentorship that I work with. He's written several books. He's got a couple mainstream ones right now. So he's got one called The Obvious Choice, which is out, which is like business marketing book. And then there's one that he's about to come out with, which is called Unhinged Habits. And he sent me a little excerpt of it, but he also sent like a 1-sentence summary, basically, of what it is. And he's like, it's almost the anti-Atomic Habits. If you've read Atomic Habits, because what's so funny about James Clear and Atomic Habits is he talks all about like how to set yourself up to be consistent. Mm-hmm. He wrote Atomic Habits by just like working a ton of hours every single day or Tim Ferriss wrote the 4-Hour Work Week. He didn't write the 4-Hour Work Week working 4 hours a week.
Right.
He just had an unreasonable amount of time, but it's about opting out of that when you want to. And so Jonathan's book Unhinged Habits is about periods of success comes from periods of intensity flanked by seasons of consistency.
Well, that's good.
The key, though, is flanked. Mm-hmm. Flanked means on both sides. So what the problem that people do is they go intensity and then they think they're going to figure out consistency afterward. You have to first establish consistency, then you can ratchet up intensity and then come back to consistency. Mm-hmm. So what I just laid out for you is something that you should be able to do consistently, that you will do, I'm not exaggerating, for the rest of your life. If we have not yet established something, because none of those things were like be in a calorie deficit or deprive yourself of whatever. 4 yeses in a week might not make most people into a calorie deficit if you're doing 4 yeses a week. But like that's a reasonable amount, maybe 5. And so if you're not able to do that consistently, then you will never maintain the results that you get from level of intensity. So you can do all the intense things that you want to do, but you are going to end up exactly back where you were because you've never established a level of consistency. And those are baseline things that you have to do for forever. You will need to have protein at every meal, like almost every meal, like there's exceptions. Protein at every meal, 4 servings of fiber, a reasonable amount of meals that you're choosing to say yes to, setting yourself up for success, having reasonable expectations, having a floor for your walking and consistently strength training. You will do those things until you die. And so until you can figure out a way to do those with a level of consistency, then ratcheting up intensity matters none at all. Mm-hmm. And I've given this analogy a bunch, but I'll do a little bit of a different version of it right now because of the basketball thing, and this is where I'll close. If I stood on the free throw line and I shot one, like my first shot, that was 1.5 feet short of the rim, and my next shot, I was like, all right, I'm going to give it some more, and I shot it over the backboard. And then I shot the next one off to the right, and my next one off to the left, and then my 5th one, I drained it, nothing but net. Mm-hmm. Am I now a good free throw shooter?
No.
No, I am lucky in that moment. What am I versus the guy behind me shoots 5 shots and hits the front of the rim on every single one of those 5 shots? Which one of those 2 people do you want to coach?
The one who needs another 1 inch.
1 inch.
Perfect
he makes one little jump, one little adjustment, and he's Steph Curry. He's just draining everything. And the reason why is because he's consistent. Mm-hmm. And then you just make one marginal change, and then you've made the difference. I'm going to tell you guys a secret. I've said this on this podcast. No, but I'm going to lean in. Lean in while you hear me say this. I have said this exact thing on this podcast dozens of times. I've said it in my coaching hundreds of times. I've said it in my business coaching hundreds of times. Why? Because consistency is the key to success. And so I have one message, guys. I have one dang message. We've done 120 episodes or something like that of this podcast. I have one message. I have one principle. Just do it the same way. Like, set yourself up for success, do it the same way, get consistent, and then when you're there, you get to decide how intense you want to go. You get to decide based on your goals, and there's a cost to everything, but like, just find a way to do it the same way. And if you can do it the same way with a level of consistency that you're regularly doing it, then you get to decide, do I want to turn up the volume? But you might do that and be like, I'm good. Like, I'll just do this for forever. But you have to find a way to do these things consistently. So until you've done that, do not come to me and ask me what calories you should do. But at that point, if you're consistently doing that and then you start measuring after a couple of weeks and you don't see progress, then at that point, that is the only situation where my clients will ever track their calories unless they opt to do it because they like it. That is the only circumstance. If my clients are consistently doing all of these things, which oftentimes takes us weeks or months to get to the point where they're consistently doing that, at that point, then we'll measure. We'll track some results. Hey, what do our measurements look like? What does the weight look like? What do the progress photos look like? Are we seeing any movement? And if at that point we're not seeing any movement, then I might be like, all right, let's track some calories for a couple of weeks. Just see if there's anything we're missing. But most people don't need to get there. Chase consistency first, then you can ratchet up intensity. But usually at that point, the intensity is like, it's like 200 calories here or there and maybe a couple hundred steps. You know, it is very minor to make the difference at that point. But the game is in just let's do the same thing over and over again and set yourself up for success. Start now. Don't wait. And let's get after it this year. If you have questions or you want some help with this, I will walk you through it. That is what I do. Send me a message that says, I'm in. And I will do this with you. We'll make you set up for success in the new year. Or do it yourself. That's fine too. And then send me a message about how awesome it was. Go change your life this year. Let's crush it. This has been the Fit Parent Podcast. Happy end of the year. We'll talk to you next year.